Hi, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back. Hi, Kimmer. Thank you for coming back. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Um, Thank you for being here. Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. Just the first couple of words. I've got terrible feelings about little Clarabelle. Yeah. News agencies reporting the mom Googled, yes, earns for children. Yep, on her phone. I know. We're gonna touch on her after Lily and Jack. Um, we're gonna look at the two videos or the two media. CBC, it's the national here in Canada. You're from Canada. I think it was you that said you're from Canada, so you would know the national, no doubt. Welcome to everyone that's here, everyone else, everybody else. Um, Yeah, so we're gonna touch on that. Check out those two videos. There was actually two. One just come out this morning. I don't know. One was last night, and then they put another piece out today, and it's really sad. Yeah, yeah, you're from Canada too. It's the grandma, and yeah, so we're gonna take a look at that as well. This case is really getting me teary-eyed, and when I'm coming on to do anything about it now, just because it's been so long now and just things look like they're adding up in a very bad way. Well, I mean, as soon as they didn't find the children, obviously it's gonna be bad, but it looks like maybe something nefarious has taken place, and that just breaks my heart. Um Anyways, we're gonna listen to the grandma here, and, obviously her heart's broken for sure. I'll just have to share the screen. And I hope everyone's having a wonderful day besides all this bad stuff going on. It's kinda crazy that both of these big stories are taking place in Canada. We don't usually have stuff like this, like these two very odd stories taking place with Lily, Jack, and Claire. It's very sad. You guys let me know if you can hear this okay. Just let me know if there's any issues. I have it turned up all the way.
Are you able to authorize and start getting some search teams going to the Gerlach location?
Radio chatter, search crews and first responders mobilizing in a quest no one dreamed would take this long.
Just make sure Mom stays close to the house there in case they happen to sneak out and get back into the house.
A home deep in rural Nova Scotia, 140 kilometers northeast of Halifax, the last known location.
A lot of area to cover. We're out in the sticks here.
Not one, but two missing children. A dog that barks at everything, a mother who left on the second day, a father who hasn't seen the kids in 3 years, and a stepfather trying to piece things together.
It's been a long 6 weeks. I know that everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanting to know like what happened.
The number one trick to get rid of back rolls forever. Most women think that bra bulges are unavoidable, but it's big brands that have failed.
The mystery of what happened to 6-year-old Lily Mae Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack William James Sullivan is indeed gripping the country and beyond. It is Friday, May 2nd. Martell and his partner Malehya Brooks-Miller, the children's mother, are having a lazy morning with their baby. Lily and Jack are in the kitchen alone.
Malehya and the baby were asleep. Lily came in multiple times. I was not in deep sleep by any means. And then about 20 minutes passed, and then when I woke up, Malehya was right beside me. She was still asleep. And I said, I don't hear Lily and Jack.
The time, no one will say for sure, but police say it was around 10 a.m. when they got a 911 call.
I ran up in the woods to the kids. They have cabins up in the woods, which only took me like 30 seconds. I came right back down. She was on the phone with the RCMP.
For 6 days, crews tackled an exhaustive search. The children's mother took the baby to be with her family in another part of the province. Her mother told CBC News the RCMP told them not to speak with news reporters. The RCMP says it just advised everyone to be mindful of the information they share publicly. On May 7th, police scaled back the search.
The probability of survival is taken into consideration.
But search crews returned for 2 more weekends until the end of May, searching wells, mine shafts, and septic systems, even flying a drone beneath the home.
The 4-year-old is wearing some blue dinosaur boots.
Police say they found a boot print. And listen to this in the radio chatter.
Families brought us to a location there, not far away, that there's a piece of a blanket.
Police won't say anything about a blanket, but Martell says a piece of Lily's blanket was found near the boot print. He says both children may have undiagnosed autism.
For a lot of people, this story just sounds odd.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. And I see it every day online.
He's keenly aware the public suspects him, says the police did too at the start.
Of course. The stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
So he offered to take a polygraph test.
I was extremely nervous. Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lily and Jack?
That was the first question they asked you?
Yeah. Yeah.
When did you find out the result of your test?
Immediately right after.
What did they say to you?
You did a good job, you passed.
Hi, Kayla. How you doing?
The RCMP's Corporal Guillaume Tremblay is not an investigating officer, but he speaks for the force in Nova Scotia.
You know, it's quite rare that in my career I've never seen 2 missing children go at the same time.
Was anything found in any of these searches that was deemed to be of significance? Even if you can't tell me what it was, anything of significance?
So I can tell you that the investigation is ongoing and that we haven't found any evidence to show that there was an abduction of the children.
So you don't think they were abducted, but you can't find them. How do 2 young children just vanish?
That's a great question, Kayla, and we are asking for the public for tips and information.
He says the force has received close to 500 tips, some that have taken them elsewhere in the country. But the only confirmed sighting of Jack and Lily was the day before they disappeared in Nova Scotia. Martell says the children were seen on camera with the whole family. Still, police are asking for trail camera footage in the area dating back 5 days. They say they're trying to establish a timeline in the lead up to the disappearance.
So when teams are tasked, they get a bearing.
Crews have searched around 8.5 square kilometers.
Coming up through all of this stuff.
Amy Hansen has been the search manager for most of that. She's taking us into the woods to show us what her team has been dealing with.
The vast majority of it was probably from Fiona.
Downed trees from post-tropical storm Fiona 3 years ago.
This is actually fairly mild compared to some of the areas.
Over a total of 10 days, they searched for 12,000 hours.
It's pretty much unheard of in this province. It's the biggest search I've been involved in.
And she's been at this 22 years.
Do you think those kids are in the woods?
From everything I've seen, yes.
Why can't you find them?
They're small, they'd be hiding. They would have crawled underneath something probably when they got tired. They could have gone further than what we searched. There's all kinds of scenarios, unfortunately.
And that's playing heavily on the mind of this woman, Lily and Jack's paternal grandmother.
Their smiles are just beautiful.
She hadn't seen the children in nearly 2 years, a relationship left complicated after her son, their biological father, chose to stay out of their lives. She says he has been questioned by police 3 times.
A couple of days ago, they had contact and they told him that they weren't looking his way anymore, that everything was fine.
She says she joined the search herself as soon as she heard Lily and Jack were missing. She doesn't believe the children are in the woods.
There's no reason for any child to wander deep into the woods. There's just not.
The brush is just too thick.
It is way too thick. Way too thick.
Tonight is about saying a prayer.
She attended a vigil in Pictou County marking 1 month since the children went missing and says she feels the support of the community and beyond.
Well, these are everybody's grandchildren. They're not just mine now.
As she clings to cherished keepsakes,
This is Lily's handprint.
she is pleading for any information that could provide answers.
There is nothing more pure and innocent than a 6 and a 4-year-old. And they deserve so much better than what they got.
She keeps her mind occupied spending time in the garden, surrounded by hummingbirds. Symbols of hope, though she admits now that so much time has passed, she doesn't have much hope the children will be found alive, and even worries the mystery of what happened to them may never be solved.
If you want your
Okay, now we'll go to part 2, which I should have here in my history. I hope, yeah, you guys can hear me. If my voice sounds funny, guys, it's because I was very teary-eyed about this before I come on. Actually, since I listened to it last night. Yes, Kimmer, exactly, and that's why it's just so heartbreaking. And I have to agree. After we watched part 2 of Belinda, the grandma, we'll discuss that because now this is a different story. Maybe it's just me, and I just hate doing that and pointing that stuff out. But if it's so, it's so. And the events that he's saying now is completely different than before because it was Malehya who said she woke up and then said to him, "Do you hear the kids?" And I'll play that clip again just as a reminder as to compare because the events are now changing again of what took place. Okay, so this is today. Yes, this is the one from this morning that came out.
My heart tells me these babies are gone. My heart tells me that. I am the grandmother of Lily and Jack. I am the grandmother on the biological father's side. My son is Cody Sullivan. He's not in jail. He's never been out west. He does not have a criminal record. And right now he's living with me. He has been for 9 months.
How did you find out that Lily and Jack were missing?
The mom of my grandson called me. We were in town. She asked if I heard the news. She sent me the article that was on Facebook showing the kids missing. I couldn't call Malehya yet, so I waited till we got home. And I called, well, I didn't call her, I texted her. And she told me that, yes, that the kids were missing, that they've been missing since this morning. I was in a state of panic, shock. But in the back of my mind, I kept saying, well, they'll find them. I mean, I'm assuming that they'd find them. So I told her, well, we'll head out first thing in the morning and help with the search. It was around between 3 and 3:30 in the morning. A couple of cop cars pull into the driveway. The lights wake me up that I'm a fairly light sleeper, so I see the cars pull in, so I knew what it was. So they come inside. They only stood in the kitchen. They wanted me to wake Cody up, and they wanted to know when was the last time he had seen the kids, and that they were just making sure that the kids weren't here. And then they left. So we showed up Saturday morning, me and my sister, and we met up with my daughter, and we started, well, I asked Malehya, I said, Malehya, I said, you know your kids. Nobody knows their kids like their mom. Where do your kids normally go to play out in the yard? What direction do they usually like to explore? And she said, well, they always play up in the little woods right on the side. I said, well, okay. I said, we'll start from that point and we'll work our way out. We had spoken to a search and rescue, and we weren't allowed on the other side because that's where they were searching at the time. So we just started combing through the woods up through there. We were gone for a couple of hours. I'm yelling for Lily and Jack. We always call Jack Jackie Boy. And yeah, that went on for a few hours, but those woods, I started to feel that I can't see them being in the woods. There's trees everywhere. You literally have to climb over trees, climb under bushes. It is really, really thick. We come back out and I went in to see Malehya again. I assumed she was in shock. She was very, very non-emotional, very just flat, monotone. But Malehya's very soft-spoken anyway, that she's not usually excitable. I thought that's made her a really great mom. She was an excellent mom. She never raised her kid or voice at the kids. That it was always, now Lily, what did mommy say? And I used to think, now if anybody's meant to be a mom, it was her. A part of me still feels that.
Why only a part of you still feels that? What do you mean?
After seeing the place, seeing the condition of the home, it was like the total opposite of what I knew of Malehya. She was always clean, very clean about herself, about the kids, about her home. This home looked more like a camp. Now, I don't know if it's from all the people that were there, because I didn't show up till the day after, but it was very unkempt. I was pretty surprised.
I love you.
Lily is, she was my little dream girl, the first granddaughter. And I loved that she had the brown hair and she had a space between her teeth, which I had when I was a kid. So yeah, she was our little princess. Jack was such a sober, serious little baby that he didn't like to smile. You could tickle him and he would look at you ever so serious, like he was really studying you.
And so how long were your son and Malehya together?
3.5 years, I think it was, yeah. I thought they were the picture-perfect family. Then Malehya started to tell me that they were having problems and she wasn't happy. She told me that she wasn't happy and she thinks she's gonna leave. And I told her that we supported whatever she decides, that one good parent is way better than 2 broken ones.
And then how did that change your relationship with Lily and Jack?
I thought it was going to change, but it didn't. Yeah, it didn't change. Malehya, she was a sweetheart. Anytime we wanted to see the kids, she'd come by for a visit. She'd bring them by all the time. It was actually really, really good.
So when was the last time you saw the children?
1.5 years, almost, really. It's about 1 year and 9 months.
How did you deal with that?
Really, to be honest, maybe I didn't deal good enough with it. I looked at the fact that when her and my son separated, my son walked away. He chose to walk away, that she wanted sole custody of the kids. So she petitioned the courts for sole custody, and when she did that, he said he was done.
Were you ever formally questioned?
Yes.
So then it's about a month after Lily and Jack are last seen that they come and formally question you.
So it's about 3 weeks. They questioned Cody for an hour and a half in the vehicle, and then they questioned me for 2 hours in the vehicle.
How did that feel to you?
I didn't mind. I mean, to me, I expected I'm the grandmother, so it wasn't a surprise to me. I'm assuming the sooner they do all that, I wish they would have done it sooner, that the sooner they can move on. So I didn't have a problem. My son was a little upset about it. He said they made him feel like he did something wrong, and he said he hadn't seen the kids in 3 years. So he was a little upset about it, that he said that they really come at him hard. They wanted to know what her favorite color was, and he said, they were babies when I seen them last. He said, she was just learning what she wanted to figure out to eat. I don't know what her color is. So yeah, he was pretty upset.
Have they ever talked to him again since then?
A couple of days ago, they had contact, and they told him that they weren't looking his way anymore, that everything was fine.
And have they ever given you any information?
No, it's always the same thing.
Which is what?
They've got everybody on it. They are looking at all avenues. They can't divulge any information that could compromise their investigation. It's the exact same words.
Why are you so sure they're not in the woods?
I have children. I have grandchildren. And I see what kids are like through the woods. There's no reason for any child to wander deep into the woods. There's just not. I think somebody hurt these kids. I think somebody hurt them.
You don't sound very hopeful.
No. Our last day searching on Monday and seeing the woods and seeing the searchers and everybody everywhere. There's no way those kids are in the woods. There is nothing more pure and innocent than a 6 and a 4-year-old. And they deserve so much better than what they got.
So that's just heartbreaking. Very heartbreaking. I'm going to go over to another video. I didn't want to talk through any of that in case people didn't see it yet. I wanted you to be able to just pay attention to that and listen to it. But we'll probably go back over Daniel again. I'm going to pull that video up of Malehya saying she woke up and what she said to Daniel. And there's a couple other things there that have changed in the story as well that I noticed, in my opinion. And it's based on, other videos, those text messages, things that he has said himself. It's not rumors or anything I'm coming up with, but it's based on all of that stuff. So it's facts. And when I say it's facts, I mean not that what he's saying is the truth, because we don't know, only he knows. What I mean is it's facts in the sense that it actually came from the horse's mouth. And then when you take a look at all of that and compare it, you can kind of see that there's different stories being told, which is unusual. Makes you question things. So the next video I'm going to show you it's just a very quick part of Dolly Vision. Now I know some people, can take them and some people can't. I have to say I give him credit. He does, obviously have a big heart, and he does the call-ins and he gets people calling in. Kudos to him on that. So there's definitely aspects of Dolly that I really like, and give him credit for what he does big time. But I know he does a little bit of the clickbait thing. And I'm not too into that. And I understand what he means by you have to pull people into the video. I get it. And there's so much fake stuff out there now. It's terrible. And I talked about it in my last video, excuse me, and actually mentioned a video that or the name of a channel that's doing that. And then yesterday, like I look for these channels and then I'll go in and leave comments because I want to fight against that. You know, you have people like me and Dolly and It's a Crime and Shame and uh, Granny's Crime Busters, Justin, who were, you know, really have their heart in it, and they're and we're all trying to put that information out there, keep it correct, focus on the kids. But then you have these channels, they're fake channels. Now the one yesterday actually had the pictures of the three, I called them the three angels, the Decker angels. But then it was talking about Lilly&Jack, and on the front of it, it showed a picture on the thumbnail of Lilly&Jack, and and it said that they were found, which is not true, and it had 800 and some thumbs ups and all these views, and it, you know, it none of it was true. So very, very disappointing. And so it was reported, I reported it, and the comments that were left were, you know, all that I'm reporting this, and how disgusting it was. So I really encourage you guys to please watch, you know, make an educated decision on what you're watching, and report those channels. And it's disgusting, and it's just for monetary, because they'll get over 1,000 people that will join that channel, and then the hours of it viewed, and then they get that monetary, because you have to have over 1,000 subs, and then it goes by your watch time hours, so they get a payout for that, and it's disgusting. And none of it's true. So I get what Dolly's saying, because he, you know, you're kind of battling against that. And so if you put a normal thumbnail out that, you know, people like myself and all those channels, and yes, Plunder's great as well. And she makes sure her information's correct and vetted, and very good channel. So those are the channels, you know, that we should be watching and giving credit to. And so I get what Dolly's saying, that, you know, you're battling that. And where he is authentic, you know, he's trying to pull people into that channel and put the correct information out and really work on the case and whatnot. But some a couple of times he went a little too far. And this is Malehya's cousin that we're going to listen to. Malehya's cousin called in to Dolly's show, and he talked about several things, but the only part I'm going to play is the part that he talked about Malehya and Daniel's relationship, because it kind of aligns with my thoughts as to what took place here, what's going on. If you guys want to listen to the rest of it, you can go to Dolly Vision. I will put, eventually, once I'm done in my video, I'll go into the description and I'll put Dolly's channel in there, but probably most of you know who that is, Dolly Vision. So we're going to take a listen to that. Like I said, if you want to hear the rest of it, you guys can go to Dolly's channel and listen to that.
You know, my son worked at that mill with him. That's how I got to know Daniel. Things that might help you and your viewers look at things a little different. It's gonna
Yeah.
drop a dime.
Well, you're in a situation where if you're wrong, you're making family members mad. you know. And
That's right. And I'm almost prepared to make a few family members mad because I'm getting prepared to be direct with them because I don't like the way they're reacting. I don't like there's members of my family that should be screaming about those kids that aren't.
yes, absolutely. I was going to say that, and that's one of my biggest concerns with Malehya is you would think she'd be screaming from the rooftops, but yet nothing.
No. Well, and there's a couple of things too. I want to might as well straighten out just little factual things that might help you and your viewers look at things a little different. Yeah, Daniel. Everybody's saying Daniel only works 1 day a week, but that's the mill that he works at. That they have shutdowns. The road has closures down here couple times a year, and the mill shuts down. And sometimes the mill shuts down because they have lack of product. So most of the time, I would say.
Sorry, guys, I was muted there talking away. I paused that because I just want to say I can pretty much vet that this individual is from Pictou County due to the twang, number one. And what he's going to say right now about the sawmill, you'll notice in my last video, I had corrected that as well. And he's going to say the exact same thing I said. So anybody from here knows that. And so he's going to say the exact same thing I said. So this guy is from Pictou County, and he's related to Malehya, and he's going to talk about their relationship.
At least half to 3/4 of the year, he's working full time at that mill. My son worked at that mill with him. That's how I got to know Daniel originally.
Yeah.
And my son and him got to be friends. And Daniel to me has always been a very, very mild mannered, very respectable young fella. I've never had a problem with Daniel. And I told Daniel himself, I said, Daniel, if you've had anything to do, I just don't believe you've had anything to do with the disappearance of these kids. But I told him, if you have, I'll be the first one to really want to see you severely punished.
Yeah.
And he broke down and cried right in front of me and swore he never. And then he told me some facts, or he told me what he believed. And then I cross-checked some of the stuff he said to me, and I don't think he was lying to me. And then I've talked to him on the phone a little bit, and there was some funny circumstances around when he came into my place there, and we had our talk. It was kind of funny. The people that were with him made me very curious, and I pieced some stuff together out of that I.
Well, let me ask you this: how was their relationship, Daniel and Malehya's? Did they have a rocky relationship? Did they have a good relationship? Was there any signs of abuse in their relationship? Have you known them to do drugs? You know, just the basics, so people have a concept.
No, I don't know Daniel to know. I don't know Daniel to do any heavy drugs. I think Daniel. Matter of fact, I know Daniel had a few. He's a little bit of a beer drinker, a little bit of a soft liquor drinker.
I'm just gonna pause that again. So again, you'll notice in my last video, because I have a friend who went to school with Daniel and hung out with him and is an acquaintance with him. She had told me the exact same thing he's going to say here as well. So I can completely vet this individual, and what he's saying is true. Because I am from Pictou County as well. And I was told the exact same thing that he's going to say here. So a lot of what he's saying is actually what I had said in my last video.
And I think, he smokes a little weed now and then.
Besides the relationship part, because he's related to Malehya and friends with Daniel. So he knows what's going on both sides here.
Okay. That's
no,
terrible.
as far as heavy drugs, no. circumstances around when he came into my place there, and we had our talk. It was kind of funny. The people that were with him made me very curious, and I pieced some stuff together out of that.
Well, let me ask you this: how was their relationship, Daniel and Malehya's? Did they have a rocky relationship? Did they have a good relationship? Was there any signs of abuse in their relationship? Have you known them to do drugs? Just the basics, so people have a concept.
No, I don't know Daniel to know. I don't know Daniel to do any heavy drugs. I think Daniel. Matter of fact, I know Daniel had a few. He's a little bit of a beer drinker, a little bit of a soft liquor drinker. And I think, he smokes a little weed now and then.
Okay. That's not terrible.
As far as heavy drugs, no.
Okay.
No, I don't know that in his history at all.
What about their relationship, how they got along? How did Daniel and Malehya get along before all this?
All right, I'll tell you this for a fact, and this is a fact. 2 weeks before the kids disappeared, Malehya wanted out of there.
Uh-huh.
She was calling members of the family and wanting to get out of there.
Okay.
Wanting to leave.
So something was going on.
They were you're the mystery cousin you were talking to for a while there, Logan. I know her well too.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, they were having some financial difficulties, as a lot of people do around here, which was putting more pressure on them. And then Malehya, they had the new baby Meadow and stuff like that. So I think they had some financial pressure in that going on, and Daniel has been laid down. The reason they work 1 day a week is to keep their employees for when they're, they get unemployment plus their 1 day a week usually.
Yeah. I can understand that.
He was still, yeah. So it's not that he was a bum or anything like that. Daniel always did work, and it's a rough job he worked at too. So I got to give him credit on that.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, he was always respectful with me and around my place. And initially, I didn't believe Daniel had anything to do with this. Nothing.
Uh-huh.
But he knows more. He knows more than he's telling. He's protecting Malehya, and
I thought that too, because he sounds brokenhearted, like a sad guy.
Oh yeah, he's just. Listen, did you ever see a young fella, or did you ever see even old fellas? Did you ever see a fella so in love with a woman that it was just one of the most important things in life to some guys?
Yeah.
Well, that's the way he is. Malehya was everything to him.
Yeah, because it's more about upsetting Malehya. He don't seem like he cares too much about what people are saying about him, but it does bother him to hear people say.
Out of there instead. So that's the part I wanted to play. And again, that's Dolly Vision if you want to, because there's quite a bit more that he talks about, but I wanted to play that part because again, that's one of those things that he's saying about Malehya wanting to leave, and how Daniel feels about Malehya. It again puts my red flag up that there was some possible, in my opinion, DV going on there. He's saying how much how Daniel is so in love with her and whatnot. Have you ever seen a man so in love like that with a woman? But that also can be control, right? And doesn't come off that way to other people looking in. Yeah, he does. Yeah, it's a pretty good conversation. I have to say again, credit to Dolly for what he does to and be able to pull that in, and he deserves credit there. But one of the things he said, so you listen to it too, he told Dolly to stop doing the clickbait thumbnails. And I thought that was cute. But he kind of has the same feeling that I do with Dolly, that, he he's really great. But then when he does that clickbait stuff, you kind of want to smack him upside the head. But yeah, so I wanted to play that part because yeah, I was glad he said it too. But again, like I explained earlier, I understand what Dolly's saying, but don't go too far, Dolly. Don't go too far, because then it might, kind of pulls people away from him as well, right? Like I want to be able to watch his content, but I, don't want to be clicking on something that's clickbait either. So don't go too far, Dolly. When he touched on the part about the kids getting status, yes, yeah, he touched on that too. He touched on quite a bit of stuff. But my red flags went up when he talked about that. And I mean, she's calling her family and saying she wants to get out of there, and it's kind of sad. Like, it just breaks my heart, because if she's doing that, if she would, he's saying she was doing that, and if she had have been able to get out of there, if something did happen because of a DV situation, which in my opinion, that this really looks like it's going in that direction, in my opinion. That's sad. It's really sad that she didn't get out of there in time, if that's the case. So let's go back and just listen to the part about Daniel again in that first video. Because again, the story is changing. I just have to share my screen. You agree? Yeah. Yeah. Hello, Susie. Susie. I love Susie. Susie's, I've learned a lot from watching Susie. Listening while I prepare my live later. You do great, friend. Thank you. Thank you, friend. Lots of love to you. Oh, I'm just going to share this, guys, and we'll get to Daniel again and listen to that.
Kids in 3 years and a stepfather trying to piece things together.
It's been a long 6 weeks. I know that everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanting to know, like, what happened.
The mystery of what happened to 6-year-old Lily Mae Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother, Jack William James Sullivan, is indeed gripping the country and beyond. It is Friday, May 2nd. Martell and his partner, Malehya Brooks-Miller, the children's mother, are having a lazy morning with their baby. Lily and Jack are in the kitchen alone.
Malehya and the baby were asleep. Lily came in multiple times. I was not in deep sleep by any means. And then about 20 minutes passed, and then when I woke up, Malehya was right beside me. She was still asleep. And I said, I don't hear Lily and Jack.
The time, no one will say for sure, but police say it was around 10 a.m. when they got a 911 call.
I ran up in the woods to the kids. They have cabins up in the woods, which only took me like 30 seconds. I came right back down. She was on the phone with the RCMP.
For 6 days, crews tackled an exhaustive search. The children's mother took the baby to be with her family in another part of the province. Her mother told CBC News the RCMP told them not to speak with news reporters. The RCMP says it just advised everyone to be mindful of the information they share publicly. On May 7th, police scaled back the search.
The probability of survival is taken into consideration.
But search crews returned for 2 more weekends until the end of May. searching wells, mine shafts, and septic systems, even flying a drone beneath the home.
The 4-year-old is wearing some blue dinosaur boots.
Police say they found a boot print. And listen to this in the radio chatter.
Families brought us to a location there not far away that there's a piece of a blanket.
Police won't say anything about a blanket, but Martell says a piece of Lily's blanket was found near the boot print. He says both children may have undiagnosed autism.
For a lot of people, this story just sounds odd.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. And I see it every day online.
He's keenly aware the public suspects him, says the police did too at the start.
Of course. The stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
So he offered to take a polygraph test.
I was extremely nervous.
Hey, video creator, we know you. For you, it's about more than getting the job done. You'll keep going.
Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lilly&Jack?
That was the first question they asked you?
Yeah. Yeah.
When did you find out the result of your test?
Immediately right after.
What did they say to you?
You did a good job, you passed.
Hi, Kayla. How you doing?
The RCMP's Corporal Guillaume.
Okay. Now I want to play the interview again with Malehya, so we can just have a recall of what it was that she said, because again, the story is changing.
And I want them home.
RCMP say there is still no sign of two siblings who are believed to have wandered away from their home in Pictou County. They were last seen around 10 a.m. on Friday in the community of Lansdowne Station. RCMP say the search is ongoing and multiple agencies are now involved.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home.
RCMP say there is still no sign of two siblings who are believed to have wandered away from their home in Pictou County. They were last seen around 10 a.m. on Friday in the community.
I can't actually find the one with her, that one interview. I know I have it in one of my videos. See if I can find it in my video. Remember to do that. And it's just getting to the point now where, you know, you're kind of accepting the loss of some hope, and accepting the fact that, you know, something else may have gone on here with these kids, or if something hasn't gone on and they are lost, went off somewhere and they're lost, that they, you know, at this point obviously wouldn't have survived, which is just so sad. Okay, so we will go over this. Whoops, can't hear.
And I want them home. I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing.
Now, I will say, I've been listening to some videos that have been people are doing on this on YouTube, as I am, but more in a sleuth way, and the way her dialect, the way that she's using some of her words is being picked apart terribly. And, I always reserve that small space that, of course, we know terrible things can happen, that parents have done things, but until there's something concrete to say that so, I'm not jumping to that conclusion. For me, it's more important for this information to go out, because if these children were abducted, and there are times, and I know, people may say, well, come on, who would be out in that rural area and looking to abduct a kid, a child, or children? Sometimes there is that crime of opportunity that just everything comes together at once perfectly. And I hate to use the word perfectly because that sounds positive, but and the day, since one of this bar, we saw it distance down, parked in there, but I tried. If the part I throw and but okay, so back to this.
We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet, and we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel.
And there as well, she said, I tell him instead of saying I asked him. So, I mean, sometimes it's just an individual's dialect. So, hard to say.
I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone.
My gosh, they're so cute. That picture of him, I mean, they're both precious, but that picture of him there, it's just... Okay, so that's pretty much what I wanted to play, where she's saying, boy, did I ever talk a lot through that video. I actually learned by watching my videos how to do better. And that's one thing I stopped doing, was so much babbling. And I'm such an introvert. I was really nervous too when I was on there like that. I like doing it this way better. And I can put my feet up and be on my special cushion and have the heat pad behind my back, and nobody knows. Anyways, the part there, yeah, where she said she woke up and she said to him, and now he's saying in the video, it's changed again, that he was the one who said. And In my opinion, I don't believe that. I believe hate to use the word lying, but yeah, can't keep his lies straight. Bingo. In our opinion. I agree, Kimmer. Yes, thank you. I've learned not to do that babbling thing. But yeah, so the story, the events again have changed because now he's saying something different. And as well, if you go back and listen to the videos where he's talking about what he did, he get up and he says each time it's something different. Either he ran straight into the woods or he jumped straight into the car and went and checked the culverts. And now it's changed again. Like, it's just constantly changing. And, that to me just gives me red flags all over. And, yes, allegedly. And, when she asked him about, how did you do on the on the polygraph, and again, his reaction to that and the smirk, it just all, doesn't give me a good feeling at all. Um, what are your guys' thoughts, about that video? What are your thoughts, Kimmer, and anybody else that's here? Tell me what your thoughts are. Um, yeah, the smirk. Yeah. I just yeah. Um, yeah, so anyone that watches this video, please feel free to put your comments, in there of what your thoughts are. Keep them respectful, and remember, it's in our opinion and allegedly. So please feel free to do that. So we'll put yeah. Kimmer, I'm with you 100%, Nova, yeah, and I just hate to think that way. I really, really it took me, as you can hear in the other video that I played there, uh, you know, it I it took me a while to get to this point in my thinking, but it was Daniel who led me here with those text messages and him talking in the media, which I'm glad he's doing. Good, keep doing it. And I always said the one thing I'll do is listen to him because he's talking and talking and talking. I would say he's spilling the tea, the beans, and the whole everything. So he's the one to listen to, right? To try to understand what took place here. Um, so yeah. So again, it just, to me, the story has changed again, and that's not good. And I just have a very bad feeling that there's some DV that was taking place. And, you know, when people get to that point where they're ready to leave that situation, when a woman's ready to leave that situation, and it can happen to men too, but we know typically it's women and children, right? And things like that happen. Um, that's where the DV can become worse, and things can happen, that shouldn't happen to the children or the woman. And it does happen to men too in those situations. So I just got a terrible, terrible, terrible feeling that that's where this is going. And it's Daniel who's led me there. I just see all the signs of that, unfortunately. And if our CMP cannot find, locate where these children are, obviously by now I'm pretty sure we all know they're most likely deceased. That they are evidence now. They're evidence, and they need them in order to go further in this case. And so if you guys don't know, anybody that's not been in here yet, because I see there's a few more people here than usual, I am from the area. I am from the community, and the rumor mill is now, I hate to talk about rumors, but that there's going to be what do you call it? Not oh goodness. Sorry guys, I get lost for words sometimes. I wrote it down here. A reward offered. I hate to call it a reward. I wish they'd come up with a different name. But there's going to be something offered for information. And if you had listened to my earlier videos, I had stated that I felt that this is where this was going to go, where the police, RCMP, were going to get to a point where the evidence is just not there, because if they can't locate these children, and then they're going to rely on the public to help solve this case, because sometimes that's all you have left. And the other thing is, the RCMP are known for doing their Mr. Big. It's called investigations, and if you've never heard of that, look it up. It's a bit controversial. And they helped one time with an individual who was in the US, and he had committed crimes here in Canada. He was, I believe, from Canada. And, or no, I think he was from the US. But anyways, he was back and forth between both countries. And part of what the RCMP did while he was here in Canada to investigate this individual, I can't remember what the case actually was, but they did the Mr. Big thing. And when they handed the evidence over to the US to help them, because he was going to be tried in the US, they wouldn't accept it. That's how controversial it is. But Mr. Big Thing work. It does, Kimmer, because they caught that individual. I can't remember his name. He was from Cape Breton, and he unalived somebody in Cape Breton. I think it was at a corner store or something to do with a corner store. Maybe he robbed it and unalived it. I can't remember the whole thing. It was years ago. And then he moved. I can't remember if it was out west or Ontario or what. Yeah, you remember that. And that's how they got him. And they let on that they were like mafia type people, and they wanted him to, be a part of their gang and all this. And that's how they got him. And you can listen to the audio of that. It's out there. And then, what's her name? Clarissa. And that was in the Valley. That was here in Nova Scotia as well. And Boudreaux. And her mother, Penny Boudreaux, who unalived her. Very, very, very sad case. They did the Mr. Big there as well, and they got her. And, she said they went to Sobeys. She told all these lies. And then she took her out down this long dirt road and disposed of her there. They were able to locate her after they did the Mr. Big thing. And yeah, very sad, very sad. Yeah, that's sad. That just heartbreaking, because her father, she could have lived with her father. She could have lived with her grandparents. That they just loved her to death, and she was, not a troubled child. She wasn't out into drugs, and there was really no issues with her. Not that there's ever any reason to do that to somebody, but I mean, oh, so sad, and you just think, why didn't you just let her go live with her grandparents or her father? Like, why would you do that to that poor girl? And then just to go out on a dirt road, and actually, I think that's where she did it, was out on the dirt road. I believe she, around the neck thing, I believe, if I remember correctly. Got to watch what you say on YouTube. Yeah, yes, it's on Netflix. I didn't watch the one on Netflix, but as that happened, I had because I always follow all these cases. I had followed that one. Um, okay, so I want to touch on poor Claire, Claire Bell. What a beautiful name, Claire Bell. Um, when I first heard it, when I was listening to it, I didn't realize her last name was Bell. I actually thought it was Claire Bell is her name. Or like her first name, and then she had a different last name. And then I realized, oh no, that's actually her last name, and how beautiful. So this doesn't sound good. So I listened this morning to some of the recent news that was out and on that case, and we can go over and listen to that. I'm scared to press what button I'm supposed to press here, because every time I press one, it pulls me out of StreamYard. History. Okay, there's the two recent ones. We'll listen to those. And this is CBC News, the first one.
Sure, here's a unique version of your CV that will help you stand out. Just like the other
And guys, I'm sorry for the ads. The reason why I'm getting so many ads is because the my intro is a copyright that music. I have permission to use it. But sometimes when they do that and they allow you, they can make money off of that by me using it, so then they increase the ads. And I noticed I have increase in ads, and that's probably why. So I'm sorry for that. I might pay for the package that you get that has no ads if they're gonna start doing that because of my intro. Yeah.
30,000 I created today.
Searchers are still out again by air, on foot, and now with dogs, determined to find 3-year-old Claire Bell.
We want to find the girl quickly, so we put many resources to find the girl as soon as possible.
Claire's mother, 34-year-old Rachel Todd, is now in custody, charged with child abandonment. Police say Todd first reported Claire missing Sunday. The little girl was last seen at Todd's home in the Montreal borough of LaSalle that morning. 5 hours and 50 kilometers later, Todd ran into this store in Coteau-du-Lac, saying she didn't know where Claire was and couldn't remember what happened. Sources tell Radio-Canada Todd didn't appear lucid and made confused remarks when speaking with detectives. Those sources say that complicates the investigation. They also say a police search of her cell phone found she'd recently looked up child funeral urns. Todd posted a video to her TikTok account in the hours before Claire's disappearance. CBC News does not know the context behind the post.
You try that again, and this is gonna get ugly.
The caption reads, "Have you come up against a mother with nothing to lose? Claire is in her arms." Police say they have narrowed down the search area after finding the body of a dog that matches the description of Claire's dog, believed to have gone missing with her. But it's still quite big, made up of dense forest, marsh, and long grass. Surrounding municipalities have postponed garbage and recycling collection at the request of police as they search for evidence. In court, the prosecution argued against Todd's release.
We have to investigate the file, and we are objecting for the security of the public for now.
Todd will appear again in court on Wednesday as the search for Claire continues. Sarah Levitt, CBC News, Coteau-du-Lac, Quebec.
Yeah, so sad. Oh, where's that little girl? And what took place there now? I mean, that video, is that actually to somebody specifically, or like these are just my thoughts that I have, or did she have some kind of mental breakdown? Like maybe there's paranoia going on there. Yeah, and I'm assuming, I think The NCR stands for not criminally responsible. If there's some kind of mental health thing going on there, for sure. But if you're looking up stuff on a video, on your phone to figure out, and I think that might be in the other news clip I'm gonna play, urns for children. Like, to me, that's premeditated. Whether you have mental illness or not, you're premeditating something, and the thing that bothers me is that is overused so much, because just because somebody suffers from mental illness doesn't mean that they should be treated different with these things, in my opinion. Again, in my opinion. And I find here in Canada that situations like that are treated different than in the US. Like, they would probably, see that, her looking that up on the phone, earns, or URN is what I'm saying. I got the twang, so it might not sound right when I'm saying it, but earns for children. Like, that to me is premeditation. But maybe that's just me. Yeah, Susie. Terrible, eh? And that, again, is in Canada, and this is very strange for us to have two very strange cases going on like this involving children. And she was left where they were looking is along a highway in the woods, similar to Lily and Jack, because where Lily and Jack lived, they were on the old highway, and then the woods off of that. So it's very strange. Yeah. Yeah, you agree. Yeah. I don't either, especially with her, and even doing that video, that to me shows premeditation there too. Um, and I guess we'll eventually find out if she was specifically speaking to someone. Like, was that something towards her husband because there was something going on, of course, that we wouldn't know about? And then she planned something out to do to that poor little girl. Oh, so sad. A lot of people are mentally ill, but some are also evil. Well, exactly. There's lots of people who are mentally ill and don't do things like that, and don't premeditate things. I mean, just because you suffer from something that affects you mentally, when you're I mean, this is all in my opinion. When you're premeditating something, I mean, that to me just shows, uh, yeah, there's something going on there. I was just, Kimmer, I was just thinking about that. And I know what you're talking about because we're both from Canada. Others here might not know what we're talking about. But this individual took I can't remember what type of knife it was. Oh, God. Well, I think I'm far enough into the video. Certain words I say won't get me flagged. But I believe it was a machete, and went on the Greyhound bus. And, you can just imagine what he did to somebody on that bus. I think it was only one person. Yeah. And that he did that to, but he killed the person. And I believe he's out now. I could be wrong, but I believe he's out now. I don't know exactly where he is, but I'm pretty sure he's not in prison. Vince, yeah. Yeah, yeah. And so that was all, you know, uh, in court, due to mental health. And like I said, I'm pretty sure he's out now. Yeah. Oh, new name. Oh, wonderful. So I think Canada has to change all that. I think we should be a little bit more like the US when that stuff happens. That's the same as the husband and wife, the serial case, the husband and wife, the Barbie and Ken, they called them. And again, that was from Canada. And they unalived her sister, and she partook in that. And she's out now, and she's got a different name. And it's just, I don't know, Canada's got to wisen up when it comes to that stuff, in my opinion. Okay, so let's look at the other video. What one was that I played there? I can't even remember if it was CTV or CBC.
What makes the cinematic commercial truly stand out, that, my friends, is sound. Sound was one important detail
cities and municipalities around to hold the.
All right, we're going to go live right now to Quebec. We're hearing from the Surge Hits Quebec. That's the provincial police force with the latest on the search for a 3-year-old girl who went missing over the weekend. Her mother now arrested. Let's listen in here.
Ask the surrounding municipalities to not collect garbage.
Yeah, this is temporary, and this is a normal procedure to ask the cities and municipalities around to hold the garbage collection and the recycling item collection. What? So we ask the cities all around the search area to put an hold for the recycling and garbage collection. This is a normal procedure for this kind of operation.
How hard is it knowing how many hours it's been and that this
Yeah.
is a 3-year-old girl?
Yeah, we want to find the girl quickly, so we put many resources to find the girl as soon as possible. This is hard because we have a large area, and we want to have some information from the public. So if somebody saw the gray vehicle, the gray Ford Escape 2007 with the yellow sticker, baby on board, on the back glass, please call the DSQ, the information central, to give the information, because it could be helpful for the investigation.
I know that your officers they're trained for this sort of thing, but is there support for them, given that many are probably fathers, mothers, to young children?
Yeah, we have support for this kind of situation.
Could I just ask you, how far is the perimeter for your search right now? Like from what municipality to which one, or does it go to the Ontario?
The main operation is near the Highway 30, between the Highway 20 and the Highway 40.
That's big. Yeah, that's a big.
Yeah, that's a big area. So we can find a lot of police officers there to search, the long grass, to search the shoulders of the highway. So this is a large area.
Do you know approximately how many kilometers?
No, I don't have the information. It's a large area.
Yeah. So are you no longer searching near the Ontario border?
I don't have the information actually.
Okay.
It's correct?
Yeah, just sad.
3-year-old Claire Bell was last seen here at her Newman Boulevard home in LaSalle at 9:45 Sunday morning. Neighbors say last night police showed up and started searching door to door, and residents here are very worried about the little girl.
I felt bad for them the whole night because I talked with the policeman by the entrance last night. They went searching door to door. It was pretty, it's horrible.
While the girl was last seen in LaSalle, she was actually reported
a good
missing
look at
hours
her.
later by her mother in Coteau-du-Lac. That's about an hour west of LaSalle. Police set up a command post there after she went into a store and told someone she didn't have her child anymore. Police say she was driving a gray 2007 Ford Escape with the license plate
There's the vehicle.
K50FVE with a sticker that says baby on board. Police say if you saw that vehicle, to call them. There are few details about the woman's state of health, and officers are still trying to figure out the timeline of events, but say an Amber Alert was not issued because it doesn't meet the criteria. To send out the emergency alert, police need to believe a child was abducted, that their safety is in danger, and that officers have information that may help locate the child. The Sûreté du Québec has been searching a wide area all the way to Ontario. We have specialized units, including helicopters, drones, and ground search crew, he says. There's a group of search and rescue volunteers.
It's not easy. Everybody, we pray for being able to find her quickly because it's very hot. It's been a long time since she's missing.
Belle is described as 0.9 meters or 3 feet tall and 16 kilograms or 35 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes, speaks English, and was last seen wearing a white long sleeve shirt with a pink collar, gray pants, and no shoes. She could be with her dog, a brown long-haired Chihuahua. Police are asking residents of LaSalle and Coteau-du-Lac to check any buildings on their property, and if anyone has information about the whereabouts of the girl, to call 911 or the SQ. Kelly Gregg, CTV News.
So we know now that the dog is, they found the dog and the dog is not alive. So, I mean, they're checking along the highway there, so it's hard to say what happened to the dog because it was just a little Chihuahua. So, I mean, it would be so confused. It could have ran out in between the cars and something happened. Or, you know, she possibly did something. We don't know. So, you know, people in that area, please keep your eyes open and report if you see anything or know anything. And, you know, it doesn't seem like that's going to end well either. You know, the same as Lily and Jack. And it's just sad. So sad. She has many videos on TikTok talking crazy. Yeah. Yeah. And it's too bad. The thing is, with all that stuff, like some people go on there and just act like that. And they're not like that behind the scenes, but they're just doing it to get the clicks and stuff. And, you know, when I first saw that video, I was like, okay, like, you know, is there something really going on here? Or is she just acting crazy for the video to get the clicks and whatever? You know, you don't know. So, I mean, people that were watching those videos and maybe people that knew her or whatever, or just viewers in general, may not have known that something was really going on, right? Like they may have just thought that she was acting like that for the clicks and views because you don't know now, really, honestly. So it's just sad. And yeah, so they did find the dog, and the dog is deceased. I will say one thing that I noticed when I watched that. You heard the search and rescue guy there speaking. If you've watched my other videos when this first started, I was so frustrated every time they would talk to media, and I give them credit. I don't want to, you know, please don't think I'm talking down about what they did as far as searching, you know, or CMP, but it's just stuff that kind of bothers you and rubs you a bit the wrong way. Now, when you listen to that search and rescue guy speaking there, he spoke about the little girl who is missing and that they want to find her. It's hot and they don't want her in the heat, and they want to find her. But with Lily and Jack, every time they spoke about how it was affecting them. The bugs were bothering them and the ticks, which I know is an issue, but talk about that later. Every time they did a media interview, and the first couple, even with the RCMP, that's what they talked about. And I was like, why are you not talking about the kids and what condition they could be in, and that, how you feel about trying to find Lily and Jack. Like, who cares about the bugs? And I talked about that in my earlier video. So comparing it to this gentleman who is speaking, and he's speaking about how, they want to find this little girl because she's in the heat and she's going to be affected by bugs and the heat and dehydration and as time goes on, right? So anyways, it just bothered me, and I wish that they had spoke more like this gentleman spoke, what we just heard. She seems legitimately unhinged to me. Oh, absolutely. To put it politely as I can. Yeah, definitely. I didn't watch any of her videos. Maybe I'll check them out. I don't do TikTok. I don't do anything else really but YouTube. I don't even do Facebook. I'll go on there the odd time. Like, we just had a Father's Day party down at the beach, and there was pictures taken, and I was holding my grandson. So I'll go on there just to look at that. So that might be 2 or 3 times a year, and that's pretty much it with me with YouTube. I just want to share one more thing, and no. Sorry, just give me a second here. There it is. So there's Lily and Jack, missing still, and hopefully they will be located. And we know now that most likely they're not with us, and that's sad. So the numbers are below. As I said, the rumor mill is that there's going to be a reward offered. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But sometimes the rumor mill is correct. So we'll find out, I guess. And there are the numbers to call on the screen. I'll let that go by a couple more times. And you can call the RCMP, but if you want to remain anonymous. So anybody out there with any information, any suspicions of anyone that you feel that knows anything about Lily and Jack or had any kind of contact with them that you're suspicious about, call one of these numbers. You can remain anonymous, okay? The number is there. Please come forward. Usually somebody knows something, and sometimes you don't know that you know something. It's like that gentleman that was talking on, excuse me, on Dolly. To me, what he was talking about, to me, puts my red flag up again as a sign of DV going on. But as he was saying what he was saying, I don't even think he realizes that. But he does seem conflicted, because he did also say that, although he told Daniel that, I believe you, Daniel, he then said, that deep down he does feel that Daniel knows more. There's more that took place here. So, yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everyone that was here. That's the most I ever had in a live yet. The number was up to 12. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Have a wonderful day. Make it the best day that you can. And lots of love, positive vibes. And we'll see you again. So here comes the little cutie pie that's always at the end of the stream. Thanks, everyone, for being here. We'll see you again. Take care.